You're listening to TalkTainmentRadio.com.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Hello, this is Dr. Bates. Welcome to Talktainment Radio. This show is called Stairway. I'm your host, Dr. Bates Claude Smith, and my wife is with me, is Evangelist Patricia Smith. And the topic of the day, we're wearing the behind the mask. I hope I got that right. And for those, if you want to listen to or call in to call the station at 1-877-932-9766. That's 1-877-932-9766. Call in, give us your opinion and your questions and what you think. And good evening, Evangelist Smith. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. This part is called Words of Wisdom, and you're gonna be seeing this show every other week, and then I'll be back in the next couple more weeks. I got a good one for you when we Stairway Heaven return. And this is going to be for the young folks and the young men. I'd like to give my shout out to the lab techs over at West Mount Carmel Hospital on Chirac Road, and they're trying to discover about this coronavirus, and they're doing a whole lot of other things. So my shout out goes to them. Getting back to the subject behind the mask, it's a subject that where we are wearing these masks, but I'm not saying the masks like we do for the coronavirus or anything. I'm talking about the masks that you wear, stuff that you hide, and who you're hiding from. Because everybody that wears a mask it's always got something to hide, or it's just something that they don't want to show. So sometimes they show their front, their false side first, but behind that mask is the side that you really need to get into and dig into. So by that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Evangelist Smith. Thank you.
Dr. Bates. Yeah, the topic of our program for tonight is about words of wisdom. The Bible says that wisdom is a principal thing, for therefore get wisdom, and with wisdom get an understanding. Our topic is, what mask are you wearing? Yes, we all know that we're wearing a mask these days for the pandemic, the COVID-19, and yes, we should do that to keep ourselves safe. If not keep ourselves safe, keep others safe. So I agree with that. We do what we have to do. This is one of the laws of the land, and we do have to do that. We know it's very uncomfortable how they get in the way of things. People are complaining about the mask until they take them off. But what we want to talk about today, Dr. Bates, is the mask that you're wearing in life. The mask that you're covering up stuff in your life, covering up things that you have done in your life. In other words, you're covering up stuff that should be out in the open so that you could be free. So that when you're free, the Bible says you're free indeed. There are masks that we wear in our marriages. There are masks that we wear around our children. There are masks that we wear in our neighbors, with our neighbors. There are masks that we wear in the church. We cover up with the mask. So our question on the floor today to you is, what mask are you wearing? What mask have you covered up that people can't see the real you or know the real you? I do believe with this pandemic, after we get done with it and we're no longer using the mask or wearing a mask for that reason, I do believe that things should be different for us. Maybe while we were wearing that mask, Dr. Bates, we found out a lot of things about ourselves. And then we could be free now to be able to speak, to come out and share with other people. A lot of times I do believe everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a purpose. God is a purpose God. He does everything for a purpose. So I believe that after this pandemic is over, we're going to take off those masks and we're going to do things that we're supposed to do, which in other words, love each other, communicate with each other, have compassion for each other, have empathy for each other, sympathy for each other. These are the things I do believe that we'll be able to do once the pandemic and the mask is removed.
Yeah, after the masks are moved, there will be a whole lot of things that you don't see will come back out, and will come out, not come back out, will come out. And I guess I can say that come back out too, because everybody that's the way I see I look at see a lot of people with masks on and everything. It doesn't, for some reason, I just don't feel right around. It makes me feel like you're out to rob a bank or rob somebody. And some people take advantage of the masses because of the things they want to do. I mean, you wearing masks now and go in the store, and you just for good thing, and then somebody come there with a mask on, they do just the opposite. So like
It's
I say,
true.
so like I say, I don't trust these. I understand the pandemic, because some of us take it too far. They take the mask
Yeah,
and the
I
gloves
believe
way
that too.
too far. And so, but like I said, it's a secret behind all this pandemic stuff. So, like I said, if you hide something behind, you got a mask, you wear it, you hide something behind that mask. It's something that you don't want the people to see or want your fellow friends to see. So that's the way that's the way it seems to me, that these masks they're just a cover-up, a big cover-up. And I know it's a big cover-up. Something I would like to say about it, but I'm gonna hold that opinion to myself. So that's the way I feel. The mask is for your protection for health-wise, but then I go along with that. But to wear a mask not for health-wise is something that you're up to, and it's something that you're planning.
That's true. That's true. And I do believe that there are people today, not only with the pandemic wearing a mask, but just wearing a mask, period, in their life, in things that they do on their job, in the school, like I said, in their neighborhood, around their children. The Bible says wisdom helps you to be truthful with yourself. Then you can be truthful with others. The Bible says the truth will set you free. John 8:36. We need to ask God to help us, to free us from the mask that we're wearing in our life and not to hide behind it. So if we do that, after this is all over with the pandemic, yes, we're going to take that mask off, but I'm talking about the real mask that you're wearing every day. The mask that you may think that people don't see that you have a mask on, but people can see that. And how can you be effective if you're wearing a mask and people notice your whole disposition is different? Some people think that with the mask they can hide behind that and cover up what they are trying to hide, and will go away in a marriage. The one person can see that hiding something and make the relationship a toxic relationship. When you're in a marriage and you're hiding something from your spouse, whether it's the man or the woman, that person, if they got a connection with you, they can see that you're hiding it. So you're not fooling anybody. Who are you fooling? You're just fooling yourself. But in order for that relationship to be strong and to be bound and to be together, you have to let go. And if you love that person, you will say, you know what, I need to take this mask off. I need to take this part out of my life so that I can be free to love that person.
Yeah, that is true. I've seen and met a lot of people. They wear masks all the time, and before this thing got out. But I've been around people that wear masks and say they this and this, and find out later on down the line they're not what they're supposed to be.
Right.
I'm not implicating anyone, but like I said, I can't say what I want to say because I'm trying to protect everybody. But anyway, like I said, people who, before this pandemic came out, I'm going to use part of this opinion, before the pandemic, the disease, the virus came out, people are going free. But at the same time, you could be around people that could put the biggest smile on your face, on their faces, and say that, oh, we doing this and we doing great. But later on down the line, that mask start falling inch by inch by inch. And they be trying to set up rules to control you. Although this mask, you don't know what's, sometimes get to the point you don't even know what's going on. But that's just the way this mask, that's the way some people wear their mask. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how you don't know what they're planning to do until it's too late or you catch it earlier. And once you remove it, sometimes you have to remove that mask yourself. And once you remove that mask yourself, you can say, wow, I did not know that this is what they were doing. So now I know you have to go to the offensive side.
So, Dr. Bates, do you think that a person that that's wearing a mask in a marriage relationship, do you think that they know that they're wearing a mask, or is it that they don't care that they're wearing a mask, or is it that the fear that if they take off that mask and cover up stuff that person won't love them anymore? But that's a false representation, because when you in a union, in a marriage union, a covenant, and you went before God and said this, yes, I will marry you and we're going to be one until the day we die, then why would you want to cover up stuff with that? It just, like I said, it just makes the marriage union toxic. There's frustration. There's stuff that's going on within the marriage that you saying, well, I know he's doing this or she's doing that, and you don't want to put no effort into keeping the marriage going. So we need to learn how to not wear that mask. Be truthful with that person. That person must have loved you. They went before God, gave the vows, said they want to be with you, and yet you're hiding behind a mask. I just don't understand that with some people. And there are people that do. I'm not going to let my husband know this. I'm not going to let my wife know that. That's not a truthful relationship in a marriage.
Sometimes people that does that doesn't wear a mask in the marriage, or sometimes people they go by the hurt that they had in the past, and don't get me wrong, I may be wrong, I may be right, but there are times when they feel like they wear their mask, sometimes because they remember, if I do this, I get scolded about it or yell at about it, so I might as well just keep it under my hat. And when they do that, it's not to intentionally to do harm or to cause a breakup. It's because they love you, but they love you, but things they do it because they don't want to bring things out. They may see something, and like I said, it's people that wear the mask and they love that person, but things they've been scolded about. Oh, you doing this, you do that, or you are naive about what you did or why you do that, and deep down yourself you are. But they gonna pour that into you, and once they pour that once they get in a relationship, they gonna hold. Well, they put themselves on a guideline or a wall behind the wall. Mm-hmm. And once they get behind that wall, that guideline, they don't want to come up, they don't want to tear that wall down, or they don't want to break that guideline. Fear of obstacles, fear of getting yelled at, fear of getting fussed at. So
right.
Sometimes you have to let them bring it out. They love you, but they have to bring it out, break it down themselves.
That's true.
And sometimes it has to be times you have to be alone to scold. Sometimes you have to take time when you're by yourself and scold yourself.
That's true.
And
that's true.
That's the main thing. That's the only way they're gonna break it down, get by themselves and scold themselves. Well, then when they're ready to break it down, then they will give you they will then tell you.
That's true. So it's basically being to yourself and being truthful with God, because God knows everything. Even though you're trying to hide it, God knows what you're doing, and He cannot bless that union if you're hiding stuff, because He's saying you're not being free. You're not allowing me to help you to get rid of that, or to help you to deal with that. You're continually doing it over and over again, which ends up, sometimes people end up in divorce behind it, because they didn't hid these things for many years, many months. They didn't hid this and hid that, and they say, you know what, I'm out of this here. I can't deal with this, because they're not being free. They're not opening up to what God's telling them to do about that marriage. So that's a mask that a lot of married people put on in relationships, and I do believe that once they take off that mask, you'll see a whole difference in the relationship, in the marriage. The marriage is, God said marriage is beautiful, but you're making it not beautiful by holding back the things that you have done, and causing havoc within the marriage. It really doesn't make any sense. So I do believe that once you get the revelation of being free from that mask in a marriage, then you can have a good marriage.
Yeah, that is true. You can't have, once you get rid of that mask, you can't have a good, beautiful marriage. But sometimes you have to give them time it takes time. It really takes time. Some people may take 6 months to a year time to tear it down, or longer. But then they have to try to, once they tear it down, they got to test that dip in that water, inch by inch, little bit by little bit. Right. And if they take that first giant step and don't get burned, okay. Now I got 2 more steps to take to tear it down. They're constantly tearing it down.
Right.
But let them, as long as they show you some love and everything, they love you. But you have to give them time to tear it down, because they still think about the abuse. Some still living in the abuse of the past.
Exactly.
But you have to tear it down. And
exactly.
Once you tear that wall down, you could take that past and help somebody else.
That's true.
Let them know.
That's true.
Because I've done it 3 or 4 times. I had took my past things that happened to me and used to help somebody out. So
that's true. And also, what about wearing a mask and hide from your children? That's a biggie. Oh. I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that in marriage, in people who got children, and as the children are growing up, the parents feel, oh, I can't let my child know that I used to do this, or I did this and I did that. They have to see me at a certain place. I understand there's a certain limits that you got to go with them, but you got to be truthful with them on certain things, because they're going to grow up. They're going to have kids of their own, and they're going to say, wait a minute, something's not adding up here. So if it's not adding up when they leave home to make their own home, they're saying, well, I wasn't taught that. Nobody never showed me that. Why is this happening to me? And they have to have the truth. They have to see the truth about things that you, as a parent, have done. You should have shared with them, and if not, because it's going to come back. Eventually, it's going to come back and haunt you that you did not share this with your children because you had on a mask, trying to hide stuff. You need to be free. Be free from everything. I've told a lot of people in my life, my children are all grown. I got grown grandkids, great grandkids. I don't hide nothing from them. Yeah, this is what Grandma used to do. Grandma don't do that no more, but this is what I used to do. So that way they can come to me and feel like they can talk to me freely about certain things. Because if I had that mask on, like I'll just use this for a Betty Crocker, I ain't never done nothing wrong. That's not true, because I have. I've been through a lot, and I want to let you know I've been through it. I paid the price for it. You don't have to pay the price that I had to pay. Listen to what Grandma is saying, and I believe that if we do that as adults, as parents, to our children your relationship with your children. Somebody said to me, you have a great relationship with your children. Yeah, because I've always been truthful with them. I never hid nothing from them. They knew everything about me. Even when I was married for 20-something years, they knew what happened with the divorce. They knew the whole 9 yards. Because I said, I'm not taking that with me when I leave this earth. I want you to be free from what happened in my life so that you can be free to go on to do what you got to do in your life. So we as parents, we have to stop covering up the mask, stop covering up stuff, stop covering up things. So I don't want my kids to know I did that. I don't want my kids to know that I did this. We need to stop that and be truthful. You can say it in a way that's not going to be harmful. You need wisdom. You need to ask God, how do I explain to my child or my children about this situation I did when I was 17 years old? Lord, I need you to help me to explain to them in a nice way. And God will give you that revelation on how to explain. And then you see, as they're getting older and their kids are getting older, your relationship with them is just fantastic. It's great. The fruits of your labor is just fantastic after you done shared with your children.
Yeah, let me say this before we go further. This is TalkTameRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. And you're in touch with Stairway to Heaven with your host, Dr. Bass and Evangelist Smith. And this is the way radio should be heard. Now, get back to the children thing, back to kids and children.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people I know, people that I have known, I ain't going to say a lot of people I have known that have children, had hid things. And for one thing, I do know that I had one friend that her mother kept a lot of things from her, and she found out why she did it, and that relationship ended. They couldn't get along or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that too.
This happened while I was in Texas, and it's sad. It's real sad, because it's sad when you want something out of life and somebody it stops because of your own blood, especially someone in the family that does that stop you from stop you for what you really wanted to do. But it's anger and it's frightful there. As you said, a lot of things that my children know what I did. They know who I am, what I did, and they know where I was all the time. But that's why I don't carry a mask around them. I try to do it, be as nice, show them a lot of love when I'm not around them.
That's true.
And like I say, some parents don't care. I've been around parents where they beat their child for nothing, just to abuse them for something that they didn't. It wasn't their fault. But they do it anyway because of what they did. I wish, you here, I'm going to try to take you out, but that's wrong. Because you made that mistake and you're wearing that mask, and that makes that child scared of you. But but you got to take, like I said, you got to take that mask, and you got to let the children know what you're doing.
And also, too, Dr. Bass, I want to ask the question out there to some people, are you wearing a mask in your neighborhood? Are you being closed-mouthed? Are you wearing a mask, not expressing and showing about all the shootings and the devastating things that are happening in the neighborhood right here in Columbus? Are you wearing a mask? Are you hiding stuff? Are you covering things up? That's not helping. So we have to use wisdom when things like that happen. Use wisdom. Say, well, I need to help because this is not right. Take off that mask. God is not going to allow anything to hurt you, especially when you're doing something that's truthful. So, go to your neighbor. If you know something, if you know who did this and who did that, don't be afraid. Take off the mask. Do what you got to do. Part of being a neighbor, a good neighbor. Stop wearing the mask.
Yeah, to answer that question, call 877-932-9766, 877-932-9766. Call in and express your opinion.
Right.
Because, like you say, if you see something, say something, and some people wear that mask. They see they wear that mask, go behind that mask, and I ain't seeing nothing. They so scared that their lives are being threatened, or so scared that you say something, they may be in their bed. It's why there's a lot of drive-by shootings. Some of those drive-by shootings because somebody knows something and they done said something, which is not wrong to, but you just got these shootings and everything. Got people scared.
Yeah, and people are hiding behind the masks that they got. There's so much they could tell, so much they could say, but they're hiding, and that's not good either. It's just going to make the situation worse than what it is.
Yeah.
And also, what about wearing a mask in the church, around your church family? Oh my gosh, there's so many. They're afraid to let them know how you really feel so that they can be free to take off that mask. There are people in the church who are wearing masks that are not expressing what they really want to express. They cover it up so that you can't see it, but you can see it. That's the part that gets me. They think you don't see it, but you can see it. Their action shows, well, this ain't about God. This is something else that you're portraying. So they need to understand that taking off that mask of life. I'm not talking about the pandemic right now. You got to do what you got to do. I'm talking about taking off that mask of life that's holding you back, that's keeping you captive, that you have to learn how to not wear that mask anymore. Be free. Be set free. When the pandemic is over, we can all take off the mask. Let us start taking off our masks in our life so we can be free and free indeed. And that's what we have to do. I want to be free. I don't want to be bound down by a mask in my life. So whatever, I have to pray and ask God, am I holding something back? Am I covering something up? Release that, Lord. Release that from me so that I can be set free to help somebody else to be free. So I believe that's what we have to do, Dr. Bass.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like I'm at church, I'm just by church every Sunday. And, I see members wear masks in church. And like you said, you should, I'm going to say this. I feel that you should be protecting yourself, but I think wearing a mask in churches is so. Well, I think it's disrespectful in a way. I feel that they say they're protecting yourself. Yeah, you're protecting yourself. If you can't trust God to deliver you from this pandemic, and you wearing a mask, that's on you. But if you trust God and you walk into God's house, you should be able to walk in there without the mask. Although you got them 6 feet apart, but you just got to say, hey, I'm going to church, but I'm going to take this mask off now. When I leave the house of the Lord, I'll put it back on. And it does look like, it doesn't even look like church when you got that mask on. It really don't. It looks like more like just sitting at like I'm going to say this Halloween party, which I don't like, shouldn't say, but it does look like it. Halloween party, or you're there to try to rob. It looks like you're more like an outlaw. So that's why I say, so really, wearing a mask in church, it disturbs me. It really disturbs me.
Yes. And like I said earlier, and I think in the first program that we did on wisdom, God's wisdom is innocent, it's gentle, it's reasonable, it's peace, it's loving, it's impartial, and it's sincere. The world's wisdom is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. But we have to understand, and we have to ask God how to give us the wisdom, what we need to say, what we need to do. Yes, we do wear the mask for the pandemic, the virus, okay? We want to protect ourselves and we want to protect others. But I'm talking about the mask you wear for life, period. Things that you try to cover up. Let it go. Get rid of that mask. That's the mask that we're talking about. That mask that you want to cover stuff and can't be free. I don't know about you guys, but I want to be free. After this is all over with, I want to walk free with my head up, my eyes open, and walk freely wherever I need to go. And I believe that's what God wants us to do, to not be bound down with that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. The getting bound down, and everybody wants to be free, and it's just like said these like I said, right, when it's over, I'll be glad when everybody don't have to wear a mask, just come in there and be themselves. But like I said, some people are not there; they're there to be themselves.
Amen.
It's about that time. It's to understand that. So it's a lot that's going on with the, I'm the sound man at the church, and I sit right back there and I see so many people. Some people walk in with them on, some people walking without them on. And like I said, it's for your protection, but we got to learn to, when this is all over, they will be free from wearing that mask. Okay, this is Dr. Bates, and this is for my YouTube fans. We're getting ready to sign off, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Okay, we'll see you next time.